Hi, I'm Brittany, and I recently changed my YouTube channel for the love of reading and crafts because I wanted to change things up a bit. I love to read, but I have a hard time sitting and reading silently. I don't know. It could be the ADHD or something. And I wanted to start uploading at least once to maybe 2 times a week of where I read, and then some others where I craft with you. And for my first book, in honor of my family who supports me, I'm going to read a book called Real by Carol Kujic and Peyton Goddard. This book is about a 13-year-old girl who is autistic. And she is high supports needs autistic. However, in honor of my family, who are all autistic, their low supports need autistic. But I started reading this to my daughter, who is 9, and and even my husband was listening in, and he was like, this book is really relatable. And there really aren't enough books, I should say fiction or biography books about autism for young people. Most of them are kind of more graphic and not as relatable for kids. And when it make it more relatable for kids to understand, it's great. But this book is relatable for not just for kids, but for adults too. It makes you think. And this book is told from the story of this little girl's point of view. So, with that being, and I do want to preface that in this channel, I'll be reading books of all types, and some are going to be child friendly, and some are going to be not child friendly. But I will try to let you know. But pay attention, and if you're not sure, do some research on your own for parents out there. I don't want to be life bad, but anyway. So Real, and it's inspired by a true story. And we'll start with chapter 1. And chapters aren't numbers, so I'm just saying chapter 1, but I'm going to just read the titles of the chapter from here on out. It's called The R Word. My name is Charity. I'm 13 years old, plus 87 days. I love sour gummies and pepperoni pizza. The last part, no one knows because I have not spoken a sentence since I was born. Each dawning day, I live in terror of my unpredictable body that no one understands. Little surfer, little one, Dad's music echoed from the bathroom. I watched steam escape under the door. Scrub all the sand from out between your toes, Mom yelled at him from my bedroom across the hall. Then she stood me in front of the full-length mirror with a see how pretty you look grin. Her white teeth smiled for both of us. Her green eyes opened wide, hoping I would agree. I did not. My own face, minus expression, stared back at me. My mouth hung open like a sea bass. Some people think if I do not show emotion, that means I don't feel any. That is like saying if someone's asleep, they are dead. Page 254. Giant sea bass can change color to warn members of their group about potential danger. If I were a sea bass, my body would be blinking bright red now. Mom smoothed my mousy brown hair, braided into pigtails, and wrapped her arms around my shoulders. Beautiful, my precious girl. People besides my mom have called me beautiful, except they say it with a frown so that beautiful sounds like what a pity. I begged for words to yell at my mom. What are you thinking? I look like a prissy pink cupcake clown in a distress. Itchy lace is strangling my neck, and a giant bow at my waist. Really? You think I'm still 5? Thoughts flooded my head. oozed from every pore. But all that escaped my lips were noises with no meaning. I could not complain like other teenagers, only grunt like a horse. My tongue stuck out of my mouth. My palms slapped my hips, and my knees swayed apart together in those pink, ridiculous knee socks. Mom planted a silk flower in my hair, the cherry on top of a dog poop sundae. You think if I look cute, people will forgive my weird behavior. My knees swayed, apart together. Probability? Low. My whole life, I have lived with this brain-body disconnect. The thinkers, the people with fancy initials after their names, have examined, poked, analyzed me a million times. After all the tests, I am labeled like a strange species of toad they have discovered. Most people see me only as that label, not as a real person. If they stuck a name tag on my shirt, it would say, "Hello, my name is autism." My official diagnosis? Low functioning autistic. Nothing like setting high expectations. Some call me special. Is that supposed to make me feel good? And do not get me started on the R word. I mean, think of a really disgusting food. For me, that's oatmeal. Hello, a lukewarm cereal that looks like barf? Even if Mom stirs in chopped apples and walnuts, then it's just chunky barf. Anyhow, that R word, every time I hear it, tastes like oatmeal to my ears. After taking so long to tug on my clothes and torture my hair, Mom had to get herself dressed in a flash. Not so hard, since her one and only dressy dress was a baggy peach thing that reminded me of a nightgown. Mom is so pretty and graceful, she managed to look beautiful in any way. Dad shuffled into the room, stiff as a soldier, wearing his cream-colored suit and a sky-blue tie. He hated wearing long pants any day of the year. Since he owned a surf shop on the pier, he did not have to suffer too often. One look at my ridiculous outfit, and he said, "Gazooks, Gail, what have you done to her?" That's why I love my dad. I wish people could see inside my head. It's amazing in here. First of all, my memory is infinite. Scenes from my past play back like high-def IMAX films with surround sound. I can hear a melody once and know it forever. This can be irritating, too. Like when the Tubby trash bag commercial gets stuck on repeat in my brain. Na, 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 icky, yucky, stinky mess. Na, 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 Tubby trash bags are the best. Everything I read, my mind archives in color-coded folders stuck into alphabetized filing cabinets. That's how I imagine it anyway. Since forever, Mom gave me books to keep my hands busy. My favorite book, the one I still take everywhere, even with its well-worn cardboard cover and silver duct tape spine, is The Amazing Kids Animal Encyclopedia. People think I like looking at the glossy pictures. They do not realize I have memorized all the animal facts, all of them, a total of 327. My mind flashes back to these facts like a prayer, especially when I get jittery nervous. Numbers, too. My mind soaks them in like thirsty paper towel mop up spilled oatmeal. Mom does not get why my oatmeal bowl keeps falling on the floor. Na, 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 icky, yucky, stinky mess. I can keep track of how much money our grocery cart will cost with each item Mom puts in. I want to scream when she weighs the organic steel-cut oatmeal from the bulk bin. I do not buy $6.49 worth of that barf. You could get a whole pound of gummy worms for that price. I could solve a Rubik's Cube in less than 30 seconds. In my head, probability high. getting my hands to cooperate in making all the turns. Probability 0. In the car, Dad straps on my seatbelt, and Mom handed me my sippy cup. Yes, a sippy cup of watered down apple juice for a 13-year-old. Could I get a caramel frappuccino just once? Even worse, she covered my lap with the fluffy Barbie princess blankie I've had since I was 3 in case I spill. Did I mention I'm 13? You're going to see your cousin Mason today, sweetheart. Can you believe it? How long has it been? 8 years, 15 days, and 5 hours to be exact. It was the one thing that made the day bearable. My long-lost cousin was moving back to our town. At last, a friend for charity. Then Mom handed me my animal encyclopedia and turned on a Disney CD, probably so I could not hear them talking. It played When You Wish Upon a Star from my least favorite movie, Pinocchio, about a puppet who wants to be a real boy. I sang a different song in my head and flapped my fingers in front of my eyes to make the sunlight dance. Flap, flap, flap. If my brain moves like lightning, my body sometimes moves like it's been invaded by aliens. For no apparent reason, I might jump, flap my arms, clap my hands, shrug my shoulders, squish my lips out like a duck face. Sometimes I am in control of my body. Sometimes I am not. Even if I do not understand how my body works, and no one can imagine how scary that feels. My cousin Mason is one of the only kids who never looked at me weird. That's because cousin equals friend. It's a rule. Adults are even worse than kids. They just shake their heads and whisper that disgusting R word. They think that because I cannot talk, I do not understand what they say. They think I cannot see the such a tragedy look on their faces. Fact. My senses work great. Maybe too well. My 5 senses notice everything, except sometimes the input gets jumbled, or something is growling and intense. I feel like I will explode. I have a 6th sense too. I can often sense the emotions of people around me. They flow through me and pound on my heart, a painful talent for someone who most people consider brainless. Mom's prickly anxiety in the car, for example, hit me hard. Mom fastened her pearl earrings to the mirror. Steve, we have to make this work. She flashed me a smile in the back seat and noted a dribble of sweat running down her neck. Luckily, Mom's constant code red worry is balanced by Dad's aloha cool. Their competing emotions rumble in my chest. Dad's spring rain usually drenches Mom's forest fires. It'll be fine, Gail. Cherry and I will take a walk when she gets fidgety. Cherry, that's Dad's nickname for me. One of them. Wherever we go, Dad takes me for little strolls to calm my restless body. We sashay, gallop, and skip all over town. For me, it's scary to stay still for too long. My body begs to move most of the time. Dart, turn, tap, jump, flap, rock. My hands beg to touch things around me. Books on shelves, pebbles on the ground, people's faces, or lint on their clothes. In 2nd grade, a boy screamed when he saw me reaching for his throat. I only wanted to feel the silver shiny buttons on his coat. Fishface tried to strangle me. That's what his nickname for me. Fishface. How come I was the one sent home for the rest of the day? Dad parked the car across from a white church overlooking the ocean and unbuckled me. Hang in there, princess, he whispered. I stashed her favorite t-shirts and shorts in the trunk. We don't have to suffer too long. He helped me out of the car, and I breathed the salty, fresh air. My body hopped, and Dad hopped along with me while Mom finished painting her lipstick on perfectly. Hop, 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 hop. Hey, Remember our first trip to that beach? Dad pointed to the ribbon of sand below the cliff. Of course I remembered that day, July 30th. I was 5 years old. Dad promised to take me to the beach, and I was expecting the usual splashing and bobbing in my crab floaty. Instead, Dad zipped me into a small wetsuit and strapped an orange life vest around my chest. Then he walked me towards the water, holding his surfboard under one arm. This is the day Princess Charity gets her mermaid tail. I had watched The Little Mermaid 8 times, and I know she still did not ride a surfboard. Dad was goofy to think I could. Goofy Dad did not give me time to panic. Once in the water, he laid me belly down on the board in front of him and paddled us out towards the waves. I clung tight with both hands and squinted my eyes almost closed. I tried to calm myself by imagining manta rays swimming below us. The rubbery ocean bats, though we once pet at SeaWorld. Maybe they could scoop me up if I sank too deep. But after a few minutes of feeling the rhythm of the ocean, the lightness of floating up and down on the waves, I felt I was one of them, a manta ray gliding through the water on my fishy wings. Dad eyed the horizon and turned the surfboard to face the shore. We're going to stand up on the count of 3, Dad said calmly, as if we did this every day. Sure enough, in 1, 2, 3, Dad pulled me up and held on to me as we rode the breaking wave all the way back to the beach. I giggled and grinned bigger than a spotted hyena. Dad and I caught dozens more waves that day, and with each one my muscles slowly learned the pattern. Near sunset, he looked at his watch and realized Mom was probably going to kill us for being so late. Don't let anyone tell you what you can't do, Cherry Girl, he said to me as he tied his board onto the roof of the car. Life's an adventure. Dive in. We'd better get in there. Mom smoothed my hair for the 10th time that day and puffed out the skirt on my prissy princess dress. Where is a fairy godmother when you need one? Then she fastened my hand to hers like a super glue to cross the street. She always worried I might dart into traffic. She was right to worry. My body had done that before, darting into the street to the sound of screams and screeching tires. We walked through a giant wooden doorway into the church entrance hall. As soon as people saw me, whispers buzzed in my ears. Everyone was probably wondering the same thing. Would Charity have one of her famous freakouts? I could make a prediction. An hour-long service with 100 people watching, including all my family and all their friends. Pressure high. That is a bad start. Page 30. The Madagascar chameleon can change its skin color to blend into its surrounding. My dumb pink dress was doing the opposite for me. Maybe Mason can help me. My eyes scanned the room for my cousin's grin stained with grape Kool-Aid, and the last time I saw him, would he grab me in a monkey hug like when we were 5? My nose drifted toward a smell, lilac hand cream. The next second, I felt Grammy's warm cheek on my ear. Pretty as September peach. About time your mother brought you some nice clothes. She said the last part with a wink to Mom. Graham grew up a true Southern lady before she moved here with Pops. The Wild Water's Edge, she called it. Next, I caught a whiff of black cherry, flavor of the week at Pop's ice cream shop. There's my chipmunk, Pops offered his hand for a fist bump. I am good at those, then bent down and whispered in my ear. Bet you can't wait to get out of that silly get-up they put you in. I tried to nod and smile, but I think all I did was wiggle a little. Pops was royally right. I just hoped I would not rip my dress off in the middle of the ceremony. Mom turned me around. Charity, you remember your cousin Mason? Thank goodness. My eyes searched. Mom pointed to a boy in a navy blazer wearing gold glossy sunglasses. Could it be him? Who wears sunglasses inside? This was not the monkey boy I used to splash in the kiddie pool. Now he looked like one of the surfer boys at Dad's shop, that kind who say dude and gnarly. His mom, Aunt Kiki, pushed him in my direction. Mason, sweetie, go hug your cousin. My heart wanted him to squeeze me like toothpaste, but he just stood there. The corners of my mouth melted down. Mason tilted his head and scanned me over the top of his sunglasses. My lips puckered in a duck face. He took a step back. What the flip is wrong with her? He whispered to his mom. Aunt Kiki pretended not to hear as she shoved Mason into the church. Just keep smiling and pretend everything is fine. That's how my Aunt Kiki handles problems. I guess she never told Mason what a disaster I had become. Chances of friendship, 0. Page 197. Ocelots are territorial and solitary. Because their small size, they often fall prey to large cats and snakes. I swallowed hard. The music started, and Mom pulled me to our seats. I sat between Mom and Dad, a worry-filled girl on a wooden bench, hoping against all probability that I could keep calm. I am like Pinocchio sitting on the shelf. Will anyone ever know that I have a real heart and can feel it break? And that's the end of the first chapter. Thank you for joining us, and join us again for chapter 2. Bye.